boy, have I got a surprise for you. Steve kissed a stripper. Loser, loser, loser. What a pig. This next bit is the red flag. Pig rat man. What? You can't say that to a lady? Yes. The fuck. Turns out he was fucking his co-worker from the dealership after work at his second job in the parking lot.
Hi, can I order tea and 2 sugars, please?
Hello guys, welcome back to Tea and 2 Sugars. I'm Tatty, your host, who I'm on my own today. We've got another solo episode. Lizzie is busy doing bits and bobs today, so it's just me, myself and Joe, I guess, who is not sitting up straight. So many of you tag me in these little jelly cat chairs. Now, here's the thing. I might even be getting a different chair. So maybe we'll upgrade Joe's setup as well. Anyway, let us get into today's episode. Today's episode is looking to be amazing. We've got a woman that scammed her husband into marrying her, another woman trying to bankrupt her stepmom, and hidden cameras. So let's get into it. You know, we always start with my boiling point, my 2 sugars. My first sugar for the day is going to be Screamfest. We are peak speaky season at the minute. We're like over halfway through, which is going so fast. I want it to slow down. Well, I can't believe we're all the way through our next episode, guys. It's going to be our Halloween episode. And boy, have I got a surprise for you. Big things are happening here at Tea and 2 Sugars. That episode is going to be like a full Halloween themed episode. So if you do have any spooky story times, any Halloween party dilemmas you want me to answer, please, please, please do let me know because I'll be answering them for you. So yeah, Screamfest is it's just such a good time. It's all my besties working together, getting active, getting scary, scaring people. I just absolutely love it. It's in Burton. If you do want to book tickets, I will leave a link down below. And then my second sugar is going to be my outfit today, actually. This is literally what I have been living in. I'm pretty sure I spoke about my love for Tala before. I love their stuff so much. I've got their leggings on at the minute. It's like a crossband. It like goes like a little V. These are my favorite leggings because I'm a girl with a belly button piercing, right? And I'm a dangly belly button piercing girl. And there's nothing worse than when you're piercing it stuck on the threading of your leggings. So this is just like nicely crossed underneath. I then have one of the Tala little tops on and also my North Face fleece. This is just my cozy autumnal outfit. And I am genuinely just quite warm but like not like I'm not sweaty. I'm like you know, like And then my boiling point, here's the thing. I am 3 weeks. I don't know if I told you about this. I've given up having Mackies and like takeaway and stuff. 3 weeks clean of Mackies, which sounds bad, but I literally had withdrawal symptoms the first week of not having it. I've been going to Costa and M&S to get my lunches, as you know. Why the fuck, Costa, do you never have the Heinz cheese and bean toasty in? Feels insulting. I just want to try it. You know, I hear such great things that I just want to try your toasty. So much to ask. Anyway, in the cup today, we have our little Costa hot chocolate. I went for a large because I thought, you know, I'll get into it before the episode. I'll continue to drink it as we go. So yeah, we've got a little hot choc today. Let's get started with story number 1. All right, our first story of the day is one of the most outrageous titles I've ever read. Here we go. I scammed my husband into liking me and then admitted it on our wedding day. Story time. So it wasn't even in our vow. It wasn't even in the wedding. It was admitted in my vows, actually, in front of all our guests. For me, it was completely love at first sight for my now husband, who we'll call Steve. Not so much for him. I was his little sister's friend. I had braces and constant teen girl giggling. He was the older, much, much hotter, couldn't care less older brother upstairs. I obviously had no shot. Later, we met again through mutual friends. Now, both being older, no headgear, I'm assuming we mean braces, I was just as in love with him as I was back then. He was still just as cute, and this time I felt like I actually had a chance. And I was not going to blow it. I invited him to crash at my place after a friend's birthday party, and I had staged the place. I casually left out a t-shirt of his favourite football team out. Just tossed it on the back of a chair. Oops, how did that get there? I left a CD of his favourite band on my nightstand because obviously that's what any casual fan does. I love them too, duh. I had his favourite beer in the fridge. Yes, I 1000% do drink beer too, Steve. It doesn't taste... I do drink beer too, Steve. Yes, 1000% I do drink it. And it doesn't taste like piss water to me at all. Was I a complete weirdo for doing this? Yes. Does it work perfectly? Also, yes. And did it make the perfect scenario to add to my wedding vows? Yes. His sister, a bridesmaid, was only a little bit annoyed to find out I was using our hangouts as study sessions on her older brother. Just kidding. She thought it was hilarious and knew all her friends thought he was cute, obviously. Just to add some details here to anyone that's finding it a little weird. I already owned the shirt. It was a local school, my dad's shirt, and the CD because I genuinely did like them. I just made sure they were visible to him. 2, I don't care. I'm into my husband, so you can just sue me. That wasn't really the way I thought this story was going. I thought it was going to be a little bit more scandalous. What I'm hearing here is a woman who strategized. You got to go. Here's the thing. I have done such a thing before. With my now fiance. You saw you wanted it, and you took it. A lot of people saying that you are creepy as fuck. I like a woman that knows what she wants and she gets it. Listen, at the end of the day, if your boyfriend didn't like you, listen, we're not falling in love with people over a football top, a CD, and a beer, are we? There's going to be way more things in a relationship that mean it's going to be successful. You just... Listen, we all do things at the start of a relationship that we think are going to impress the other person, don't we? For example, I saw Jordan in the Facebook chat for the party, stalked his Facebook page, realised that I was already in love with him. I knew I was going to fall in love with this man. Therefore, made it my actual mission of that party to find Jordan. I did, and now we're getting married. Maybe I'm not seeing much wrong with this dilemma because I too did it. You got to be strategic, ladies. It's entrepreneurial, It's entrepreneurial. Anyway, let's move on to our next story. Right. This one is titled, Am I the arsehole for being mad that my husband snorted coke off a stripper's arse and I paid for it? Story time. My husband and I just went to a resort in the Caribbean. There were lots of gorgeous Latina women there, and he kept checking out their butts in a blatant way. Stephen. Finally, I called him out on it because it was just getting disrespectful, and I'm actually quite self-conscious about my own butt going away after losing 50 pounds of baby weight. Girl, that's an incredible achievement. I myself am now a size 0 and look great, but my butt be damned. Anyhow, when I called him out about this, he complained it was just looking, and I told him that I do trust him. To which he responded, he does need to not put himself in temptation's way to be safe. And Steve said, admitting this. Steve basically said, listen, pack it in, looking. Listen, I trust you. I trust that you're not going to do anything, but stop looking. We're not even window shopping anymore, Steve. And he's gone, yeah, I do need to make sure that I'm not in temptation's way. As if any of them gorgeous women would want you, Steve. You're lucky your wife wants you, you ugly rat. And then came the story time. He informed me that about a month ago, this man was guilty. He felt guilt. It was eating him alive. And this opportunity just presented itself to come clean. He informed me that about a month ago, he and a friend of his from business school, who is also married, went to the strip club in New York City. They got really drunk and got a private room. This would be an expensive one, as the other guy is rich and wouldn't go to a trash place. There, they got private dances, and it got to the point where the strippers got coke out and the men snorted it off their butts. Well, we're not having to decipher here whether Steve's an ass or a titty man, are we? He also included that one of the strippers also shoved her sorry, I read that as shaved her tongue. I was like, sorry? He also included that one of the strippers also shoved her tongue into his mouth and it was gross and he shoved her away. Right, well, here's what I'm hearing from that. Steve kissed a stripper and he felt he needed to tell you the full truth just in case anyone ever told you before him. And he's like, yeah, but babe, I didn't want it. She just shoved her tongue down my mouth as if I wasn't in a room paying for a private experience from her. I snorted coke off her rear, her behind. You know, behave more like Steve. They were out until 7 a.m. No wonder they were needing the cocaine. And then that's when he came home on a Friday morning when we had already been at work since 5 a.m. as a doctor making all the money. I asked him how much the room was and he said it was $700. $700. That's someone's mortgage. Plus whatever they tipped the girls and the coke, I'm assuming, which he put on his credit card, which I just paid off 3 weeks ago. Oh, and we have 2 kids. 3 and under. Really, I know I'm the arsehole. Really, I know I'm not the arsehole. I guess I just need commiseration and validation for my ripping him to shreds and kicking him out. This isn't clickbait. I'm sitting on my bed crying right now. Girl. Listen, you deserve all the commiseration and the pity because that is a trashy man. A trashy man. Does he work? Does Steve work? Because Steve needs to learn that mom doesn't pay for everything, including but not limited to drugs, strippers. That kind lady is just out to make a living, right? And you're out here blaming her for the whole situation. She just turned up to work today, did a dance, got told to go into room 6. You know, don't fucking blame her. You shoved her tongue down your mouth. She's not just come at you from the other side of the room with her tongue like and shoved it in your mouth. There's been stuff before that, right? What did you expect by going into a private room, you loser? Loser. Yeah, not the vibe there. At all. I would seriously consider dumping this man. This man needs to be dumped. With a capital D, P, and T. Dumped. Like, I'm sorry, you're grossed out by her putting her tongue in your mouth. I'm sure there was a lot more going on. Also, why are we doing drugs with kids? I just think people that do drugs when they have children, like, listen, I understand people have addictions and things, and addiction can come out of nowhere. But why are we doing drugs when we have children? Like, you're a grown adult. Stop putting your children... At the end of the day, if something were to happen to you whilst you were on drugs, your children would have to deal with the repercussions of that. Your partner would have to deal with the repercussions of that. That just ain't fair. No. What a pig rat man. Get rid of him is my advice. Love you. All right, we're going to have to buckle in for this one, guys. It's a little bit long, so grab a snack. It is titled, My Boyfriend of Nearly 3 years Cheated on Me with 14 plus people. Story time. So this all happened about 6 years ago, but I feel the need to share my story to hopefully help people see the signs and get out before they feel trapped or have doubts about the relationship and feeling the need to settle. For some context, I came out of a long-term relationship and went to Tinder after a couple of months. Please don't judge me. I was 23 and it was the end of 2016. I'd been on the app before the relationship and left, and all I wanted to do was have some validation of my worthiness. I had a lot of guys hit me up, but there was one who lived close, had the same family values, and I was most attracted to. Honestly, he looked a lot like Charlotte's Mike, lol. I don't get that. I was still living with my parents at the time and had snuck out to meet him. He was 5 years older than me, and I thought he lived on his own with a roommate, but no. He also lived with his parents too, in his childhood bedroom. No judgment, but I thought it was strange after how he'd presented himself. How do we feel about going to the family home? Like on the first date, you're taking me to your childhood bedroom? What? Like take me out. Take me out, my guy. Like bowling, for dinner, we can go on a walk. We could go rock climbing. We could do anything else than go to your childhood bedroom with your parents on the other side of the wall. We had a great time that night, but the first red flag I ignored was him asking how I'd felt about him after meeting me in person. He was a bit chubbier and shorter than the description and pictures, but I didn't mind. He was still super handsome and I was very good in bed. I told him as much and he said, yeah. Oh, I was like, oh, it's not a red flag that like he's chubby or whatnot in person or he's asked to meet you. Like he's asked what you thought of him. This next bit is the red flag. So I told him as much that he was like still very handsome. He's good in bed. He's a bit bigger in person. But anyway, he goes, yeah, you're definitely bigger than I thought. Steve, disrespectfully, shut up. What? You can't say that to a lady? I was a bit put off. Fair. I'm sexy as hell. Hell yeah. When I asked if it was a problem, he said no, but I kicked myself for not dropping him like that then and there. We all make mistakes, girls. We all make mistakes. I was probably my thinnest. I was probably the thinnest I'd been in my whole life. 160, is that 160 pounds? I assume. At 5'8", was starting. Yes. I was starting to outline my ab muscles and a big butt. I grew up chunky as a kid and I was very proud of myself for the work I put in to get to my goal weight. I'll add a picture if you need reference. He was 5'10", maybe 190, dark hair, dark eyes. His words didn't put me down. I was like, whatever, bud. I was the one who gave you a shot. But I was also sex crazy or something because I kept sneaking out, kept going back and seeing him in the family home. What are we doing? You're not able. What? In the family house? How old is he? 24? Okay, well, I guess. No, he was 5 years older. 27 in the family house. Book a hotel, Steve. I really, really don't want to give him the credit he deserves, but he was so good in bed that I felt like I was really feeling something in me. I bet it was. But he was a good time in bed and felt like he was feeling something in me that really needed at the time. Yeah, fine. He's just a good time boy. He said all the right things, minus the weight thing that day. He called me sexy, made me feel safe, put in so much effort, took me out for expensive Valentine's dinners, introduced me to his friends. I was his +1 at his friend's wedding where he was a groomsman. I was invited to vacation with him in Las Vegas. I met all his family and he met mine, etc. After my previous relationship, he made me feel worthy of something more. This was the kind of adventure I craved. We weren't official for a while. I was still fooling around with others and I assumed now no, he was too. But after a few months of fighting and jealousy, we said the I love yous and that became that. We became a real couple. I really thought it might be going somewhere permanent. I could literally see myself marrying this guy, but he was a good love bomber. After my grandma passed away, I inherited £20,000. I immediately planned getting a place with him. I was so done sneaking around. We found a place and combined income wasn't enough to get accepted for the unit we wanted. So I told them I had an inheritance, set my bank info, and we were in. I hope we're just putting your name on the lease. It was a 1-bedroom, 1.5 bath townhouse in a gated community. We were both so proud, but immediately there were problems. I gained some happy settling down weight, maybe 10 to 15 pounds, and I noticed a behaviour difference in him quickly. I don't like this man at all. Why is his love for you based on what the scales say? I'm just a bit confused by why that is such a pressing matter for him when he is not God's gift to man. He is not hitting the gym 5 times. Like, it's clearly not that big of an issue for you, Steve, and yourself. So why are you having those different expectations for me? Do you see where I'm going here, ladies? Like, you clearly don't hold yourself to that standard, Steve, so why would you hold me to that standard? We both worked full time, and I was also trying to finish my bachelor's degree, so we didn't spend that much time together. We'd had problems about infidelity earlier on, but I thought we'd moved past it. We shared our locations and had many, many fights and talks about our relationship. He was working at a dealership and a liquor store afterwards. He was trying to pick up more hours, even though I still paid for almost everything. Where is his money going? Where is his money going then? If you're paying for everything, sweet thing, what's he contributing financially? And where is that? Where is it going? I know, taking 14 people out on dates, probably. Actually, is he actually working late night at the liquor store? Oh no, because you've got each other's locations. I was going to say, he's not working at the liquor store. He's taking girls on dates. Anywho, never mind. We divulged later on. Every night I'd come home, check his location because I had a bad feeling. Sex was becoming rare and we fought a lot. I noticed he was spending more and more time at the liquor store after it closed. Turns out he was fucking his co-worker from the dealership after work at his second job in the parking lot. Let's just retell that bit. Turns out he was fucking his co-worker from the dealership after work at his second job in the parking lot. The fuck? I found out by looking at and questioning his activity. I've just got visions of you and the girls like rolling up to the liquor store, like dressed as men in like trench coats and twilly hats, being like, what the fuck is this man doing? He's like, oh, there goes, back seat's gone down, front seat's down. Right, oh, okay, Amy's turned up. Oh God, all right. So I found out looking and questioning his activity. He denied it and gaslit me. Always surprised. You're so paranoid. I was just closing up. Even though I had this absolutely horrible feeling, she just keeps trying to get with me. Nothing happened. Oh God, I'm just so seductive and so irresistible to my coworkers. She comes to the parking lot. Well, here's the thing, Steve. You had to walk her to your car, unlock your car, open the door, watch you don't bang your head on the way in, crank your seat back, roll the seat down. There were many, many, many parts in this that you could have stopped that. Okay? And let me just remind you, Steve, you are not that special. Ugh. He denied it. You're so paranoid. I was just closing up. Shut up, Steve. She just keeps trying to get with me. I was seriously thinking about being with this guy forever when all this happened. We lived together for 6 months before I finally broke down and looked at his phone. I was appalled. I love that. I was appalled. God. Appalled at his behaviour. What do you think about it, Joe? Couldn't have said it better myself. This was a guy I'd spent years with, trusted with my heart, loved so much and paid for everything. And he was on Tinder, talking to 12 girls. Trying to meet up with them all and actually seeming to get with some. He was sexting 2 of his exes, talking about how much he wished he was with them instead of me and sneaking out. I trusted him enough to have sex without... Oh, God. Trusted him enough to have sex without condoms. Now I'm scared to death. He's given me something. He didn't, thank God. I immediately confronted him and made him seem like it was my fault. I was in the wrong because before we made it official, I'd hooked up with someone while I was visiting my family. I know for certain he was doing the same, but in the end, we decided we wanted to be together. Also, I thought, yeah, you've had this. I remember you saying it earlier in the story. You've had this conversation about this prior. Like, you can't keep bringing up things from the past if they have been resolved and put to bed. You clearly haven't resolved it in your brain that much, or you're using that as an excuse or weaponizing your girlfriend's behavior for something that you've done. Eh? I finally left, but I'll make a part 2 about that because it was a horrible and very, very complicated. I hope anyone who listens to this would please consider your self-worth. You deserve so much more than this dream life, that you should do more just to settle for someone who can give you a stable income and an ideal life. If you are going to be neglected with your basic needs, you deserve to be loved, deserve the truth, deserve the things you want out of life without insane compromises. If he wanted to, he would. We're going to read that last statement again, ladies. Repeat after me, okay? I deserve to be loved. Your turn. I deserve to be loved. I deserve the truth. I deserve the truth. I deserve the things I want in life without insane compromises. I deserve the insane things in life without insane compromises. There we go. See, she said it herself. Let me see if she's posted part 2 yet. Whoa. This was only posted 8 hours ago. Oh, it's not. It's not. Anyway, I'll keep an eye out for that in case they do post. In case they do post another update. Anyway. Well, here's the thing, girl. I'm glad you got out. Because the fuck? What is up with people? Like, it's so easy. It's just, honestly, guys, it's so easy. I say this time and time again. It's so easy to be honest with people when you are confident in your own actions. Wow, I've just noticed my roller sat on the side here. I'm so sorry about that. It's so easy to be honest with people when you are comfortable and confident in your own actions. The reason people lie is because they know they have done wrong, they know they're going to upset someone, or their reputation is at risk. God, I'm so fucking clever. I'm bringing that up more. Look at that. Should be a philosopher. What's a philanthropist? I've always said it, a lie takes so much more energy to uphold than the truth, and he couldn't get past it. You know, the only time this man was honest was when he was berating you, and that says a lot about him. And listen, I'm not going to say that you're bigger than you are in your pictures because I don't know what you look like. I'm sure you are absolutely insane. That's just his opinion, doesn't make it right. But the only time he could be honest with you is when he was putting you down. Tiny behavior, if you get me. I don't like this man. Death to him via the braising bull. You know, these men are out here, guys. We need to be careful. Anyway, let's move on to our next story. Okie dokie, this next one is titled, Am I the arsehole for bullying my mother-in-law? Story time. So, it's a bit of a chunky story. Let's lock in, guys. For some context, my wife and I met in 2021 and married in 2023. No, 2024. That clearly says 2024. We didn't live together prior to the wedding due to me being sent out of state for my command in the military, and she didn't want to uproot my stepkids, but they are ours. Oh, what a refreshing statement. In the middle of the school year. My wife has OCD, constantly cleaning, everything is perfection. She has a certain way of doing things, and if it's not done her way, it leads to an anxiety attack. I tried to stay out of her way for the most part, help where I can, and over time, she has since relaxed, and now I contribute into helping around the house, cooking, cleaning, etc., which is important information for later. Do we see this, guys? This is how you deal with a woman who just has her own, what's the right word here? Troubles, you know? It's all about adjusting the way you react to things. And look, we got there eventually. Now, my wife is tough as nails in every other aspect. Basically, complete opposite of a doormat. She's the nicest person, but don't get on her bad side. Think the person that if I told you I like that shirt, would try and rip it off your own body to give. Oh, okay. So if you said to his wife, I like your shirt, she would literally rip it off her own body to give it to you. But if she saw a person bullying someone else, they better. Think the person that if told I like that shirt would try to rip it off her own body to give away. Yeah. But if she saw a person bullying someone else, they better run because she will have fire in her eyes and will stand up for any person. I've literally had to step in between her and a grown man for him making fun of the clerk's Indian accent in a shop. She's 5 foot tall and this man was 6 foot, but basically shrunk to her size when her finger came wagging in his face. The only person she won't stand up to is her mum. Her mother will berate her, judge her parenting, and she will just roll her eyes and say, okay, mum, but never more than that. From the moment I met her mother at the beginning of our relationship, I've brought this to her attention and she tells me just to let it be. That's the context. Here's where I might be the arsehole. The first time her parents visited us after we started living together, I realised where her OCD came from. Her mum. My wife deep cleaned the house like the royals were coming, dusting, basically bleaching every single crevice and crack, pretty much stuff that she had relaxed from over the time. She's just so triggered by her parents. The moment her mum walked through the door, she looked up and down, grimaced and refused to take her shoes off at the door as my wife requested because the floors were suspicious and might stain her socks. Just put some fucking black socks on, Bertha. Like, there is nothing on this floor that is going to stain your socks. She would check the glassware and make comments like, I can tell you didn't hand wash these prior to putting them in the dishwasher, and toss them in the sink. Toss! It's glassware. And she would ask my wife to wash them again. The next time my mother-in-law visited, I, as the potatoes might consider, moved into the shadows. I sent my wife on a spa day. Oh, I love you. I love this guy that's written this. Sent my wife on a spa day and cleaned the entire house just like my wife would. Scrubbed, bleached, shampooed the couches, put fresh sheets on, dusted, you name it, I did it. I even mopped the floors right before my mother-in-law arrived. As expected, the moment she walked through the door, the comments started. Oh my, look at all this dirt. And she pointed to the single grain of dirt, fluff, whatever it was, probably that had fallen off her grotty shoes. I smiled and hugged her and said, I'll get it. So sorry about that. Next, she sat on the sofa, and while we were chit-chatting, she started rubbing the cushions she was sitting on, going, oh my goodness, Amy has really slacked off on caring for your furniture. I chimed in and took a page from the petty book. I said, I'm actually the one who cleaned the couch, so what exactly did you mean by that? Please explain. She started to backpedal. So it's not actually about the cleaning then, is it? It's about her daughter. Oh, well, I didn't mean it like that, don't go offensive. I asked her again. Then what exactly do you mean, please? Just explain so I can understand. I can see my wife in the corner of my eye trying everything not to burst out laughing because she was so caught out by what I did. I then told her that if she has a problem with how clean our house is or how we care for our house, she doesn't have to visit. She then said that I was just bullying her for being honest and it's not that serious. To me, it is that serious. This is what has caused my wife to have a lot of stress, and I will stand up for her as she has stood up for others. Bertha hasn't talked to me since she left, and I haven't gotten a few texts from family members saying that I shouldn't be bullying her because that's just how she is, and I need to apologise, but I'm not going to be doing that until she apologises to me and my wife for these comments. Listen, sir, I think you are doing a fantastic job. You are standing up for your wife in a quite a polite way. I feel like you're not being like, listen, I clean this, blah, blah, blah. You're such a bitch. You're the reason why my wife struggles, X, Y, Z. You are taking this into your own hands. You are, I don't know, I really like this. I think you went about it in a way that was very, very calculated, in a very intelligent way. And I like it. You've taken the stress away from your wife. You've sent her on a little spa day, which is a lovely thing to do. And yeah, I really appreciate what you've done for your wife here. You're sticking up for her in a way that she would stick up for others when she wasn't able to herself. It sounds like she's accusing you of bullying her. She's been bullying her daughter for her entire life. And listen, I don't know if you've seen this thing on socials recently, but like some mothers just don't like their daughters. Some parents just don't like their daughters. It comes down to that unknown number thing on Netflix. That mum did not like her daughter. She was so jealous. But yeah, I think you're doing a spectacular job there. You're not an arsehole at all. You're just sticking up for your wife and your family. More of that, please, Steve. Let's go on to our next one. All right, we've got a bit of a family feud going on. I plan on bankrupting my stepmonster, and I couldn't care less. Story time. So, my 45-year-old dad married 3 different women over the years. Outside of my mum, his first wife, he has god-awful taste in women. This story is about the 3rd wife. Okay, so your mum was the first, and then they've got divorced. Right, we've got 2 other after this. He had no children with her, and I have 2 brothers, 39 and 32, from the marriage 1 and 2. She didn't like either of them. Long story short, we had a hellish childhood growing up with her. My dad passed in August 2021 with a will leaving 1 property to my stepmom and the rest of his personal and real property to me and my brothers to split equally. This includes a commercial or residential property where he ran an ice cream shop for 24 years prior to his death. Wow. Us kids all grew up there. I remember my dad and grandpa building the commercial space themselves to save money. My father opened in 1999 and named it after our sister who was killed in a car accident at 18. The sentimental value of that property has no price. In addition to the real estate property, my father co-owned a Subway franchise with my stepmom. He held a 49% interest and she holds 51%. Well, I stuck around for a month after my dad's death to shut down his ice cream shop and finish up events he had scheduled. Literally days after arriving, I provided evidence of almost £11,000 missing in cash deposit from the Subway books. Well, I'm pretty fucking petty and smart. So, my bad. Did I let it slip in a small town that money was missing? Yeah, sure the fuck I did. Within about a week and a half, Stepmonster 2 summons me to the Subway under the pretense of having to give me something. I entertain this and head down. Get down there and she starts wagging her finger in my face, going on about how her accountant told her money was missing from Subway and how bills weren't being paid, basically implying my dad was responsible. One thing about me, I'm a hothead and borderline feral on occasion. You put your finger in my face, I might fucking bite it off. But by the grace of someone's God, I did not react. Not even a little bit. Just shrugged and said, oh, okay, and left. Because what I knew, but she didn't, is I never told anyone what year the money was missing from. So she fucking told on herself. I walked out knowing for a fact the money was missing in 2017 and 2021. Thanks for that. After closing down the ice cream shop on Labor Day, the grieving and depression hit hard. By January of 2022, I was not in any financial or emotional place to fight my stepmom's appointments of well, what the fuck does that word say? Executrix? Appointment as executive? I think it's supposed to say executive of his estate. Okay, by 2022, I was not in a financial or emotional place to fight my stepmom's appointment as executrix of his estate and his will dictated. Right, as his will dictated. I did not want to consent, however. It was either I pull over £10,000 with my brother, which we didn't have at the time, or I represent myself during the citation hearing and just didn't have it in me to fight at the time. So finally, at the last possible moment, I sent my consent in and told my brother We just have to sign them. Give her the rope to hang herself, and in the future, I do my best to protect our interests as a litigant in the case. And oh boy, did she hang herself. Listen, I don't know what any of the fuck that just meant. Basically, I'm getting here that you are not in a great place, so you're like, fuck this, I'm not going to court. Let's sign this thing. We'll get all the details later. Give her the rope. She'll hang herself with it. I'm assuming that's what this means. A few things about me. I worked for a decade in the legal field. Oh shit, it's about to go down. First in a firm that did estate planning and administration, then in a real estate where I did the commercial closings, represented banks, as well as buyers and sellers in residential transactions. I know enough about LLC mortgages and business funding to have some insight into the mess that my dad's estate was. Also, I'm like a dog with a bone. I don't give up. If I don't know something, I'll just figure it out. This gave me a leg up in representing myself. By June of 2022, I filed my first notion, an order of show cause, to stop her trying to sell the equipment from my dad's shop. The property itself couldn't be put to sale at the time because of the workman's compleon in the property that had to be cleared at first. Right, guys, let's just dig deep with this legal terms. This bought me enough time to get the bearings in court and figure out how the proceedings for e-filing and draft semi-dissent responses and motions. You are a very intelligent woman. I am not. In New York State, there is this thing called a spousal right. I know about this. It's not automatically granted. It gives the spouse 6 months from the date that the letters are issued to file a petition entitling $50,000 or 1/3 of the estate before any other beneficiaries can make a claim. So, if any of my legal girlies out there are listening, I'm assuming she has the spousal right to claim that $50,000 / 1/3 of the business, but because it's in your name and you have the right to the residential properties, she's out of that term. Let's read on. She mistakenly thought that the estate attorney represented her, but he didn't. He represented the estate. And by extension, there's some big words here. Let's just skip this bit. Anyway, they go back and forth through court. She completely stopped communicating. The only option was to get information by going to court. So then you filed another hearing, and that was planned for December. First update comes in December. Oh, look, a property apparently is in foreclosure. A property my dad owned and used as a collateral to open the co-owned Subway. My dad owned every one of his properties prior to them getting married. She was never on the deed or the mortgage filed within the county. But one thing I learned from the days of my real estate times, you don't have to be on the deed or the mortgage to be obligated for a debt. It's not the mortgage that creates the debt obligation, it's the note that secures the debt. The mortgage fucking hell. Blah, blah, blah. I'm going to skip to the end. I'm just going to summarise this bit. Anyway, from what I can tell, we're going back and forth. You're sending tax receipts. You're sending all documentation, reports of breakdown of daily sales. And at the end of all of this, to absolutely no one's surprise, I find out that $4,835 in cash has gone missing that never ever made it to the bank. Gotcha. Okay, and then basically her dad owned like 3 or 4 cars. She sold these cars for bare $100. Like, obviously, these vehicles are worth way more than that. So I think then she's going to take that to court. So now we're at the current. I had my appearance on Monday, the 6th of October. Judge ordered Bertha to be at this hearing, but she did not show. He goes through her responses on the record, shaking his head at the absurdity of her responses, and asks if I want to be heard. I continue to point out that the lack of candor in her responses, point out the answers aren't even answers to the questions actually asked. She claimed she owned a 67 Dodge Dart. She gave my dad as a birthday present. I point out if that's the case, she owes my brother for daily storage fees, as she should have taken custody of it if it was actually hers. I also point out every piece of property that benefited her was taken care of, and that she's collected around £500,000 in cash off my dad's death, while our assets have been neglected and losing value from her mismanagement. The judge gets down to business and starts saying, I am loath to remove an executor of an estate. It is not something the court takes lightly. And I know in the moment, after 2.5 years since filing the petition and the 4 years since my dad's death, he's about to rule in my favour and the petition to remove her. My heart is racing. I'm trying not to smile a huge smile at this point, but he does it. He removes her, grants me temporary letters with a final hearing required by law on the 24th of November. Advises the current estate lawyer it might not be worth it for her to hire an attorney, as he's basically saying she'll have no defence. And this is where the fun begins, because this means I can sue the shit out of her for every red cent we lost over the course of these past 4 years. The value of our vehicle she sold for pennies, the fact we had an income producing estate asset that produced zero income because of her inability to work with us, all the profits my dad's estate is owed from the subway, the money she cost us by letting a vacant acre of our land go into tax foreclosure, the lost value of the machinery and the commercial property, every single penny. When dealing with estate administration, there is also this thing called being bonded. It's basically an insurance policy where an estate executor to shield from any liability. Well, she's not bonded, which means that we can sue her, hopefully, which means that £500,000 she's already gotten coming back to us is in beneficiaries. So yeah, I have every intention of bankrupting my stepmonster and not feeling slightly guilty about it. Well, guys, that was a fucking ride. This is one of those stories that I definitely should have read beforehand. Otherwise, I could have provided some Legally Blonde advice in this. Listen, at the end of the day, let's just take it back to Tatty style. That was quite a heavy one. Let's just bring it back. That woman was clearly only with your dad for one reason. And the moment he sadly passed away, she sunk her claws in. It was game time for her. She knew exactly what she wanted out of this man. And she thought she had it, but little did she know, her stepdaughter was extremely intelligent. You know, this is such a thing of like, I feel like everything happens for a reason. Like, you had to work in all of those things. You had to go through all of those jobs. So you would have the knowledge to take this motherfucker down. Yeah, right. I'm going to see if I can find like a truly scandalous one next. All right, I've got one here. This one is titled, My Roommate Tried to Ruin My Life, so I became her sleep paralysis demon. Story time. This story is so wild, Tatty, I genuinely wouldn't believe it if someone told it to me. If you've ever thought that your roommate was weird, just wait. So last year I moved into this cute little 2-bed apartment with a girl I found online. We'll call her Amy. On paper, she seemed perfect. Clean, chill, and she said that she loved plants and cozy nights in. You know the type. At first, everything was fine. She baked banana bread, left sticky notes around that said, "Have a great day, bestie." It was giving main character energy. But then, little by little, she started to get weird. Like, weird. The first red flag, she started labelling food in the fridge. Totally normal at first, until I realised that she was labelling my stuff. Like my oat milk suddenly said, Amy's milk, do not touch. I asked her about it and she was like, "Oh, I thought you wouldn't mind. It's just more aesthetically cohesive." But Amy, it's still my milk. You can't just steal my milk. Whatever, I let it slide. But then things started to escalate even more. I started to notice random stuff of mine going missing. My mascara, pair of earrings, even my toothbrush. She'd just shrug it off and say, "You must have misplaced it." Except one day, I caught her in the bathroom, using my toothbrush. I swear we've had a story like this before. Why are we using other people's toothbrushes? It's very odd. I'm like, "Amy, what are you doing?" She goes, "Dead serious. You're being dramatic. It's not like I put it..." What? "You're being very dramatic. It's not like I put it back wet or something." Oh, like that makes it any better that you've just dried it, you nutter. At that point, I should have just moved out right there and then. But no, I thought maybe she's just lonely. Huge mistake. Because one night I came home late from work, opened the door, and Amy is sitting in the dark. Candles lit, my laptop open in front of her. She's watching my baby photos on Facebook, whispering, "You were such a cute kid." I froze. She smiles at me and goes, "Don't worry, I didn't scroll back too far." I couldn't even speak. I locked myself in my room, texted my friend. I was like, I'm living with a literal psychopath. Now, here's where it gets absolutely feral. A week later, I wake up. She is standing over my bed, just staring at me at 3 a.m. I screamed. She screamed. We all scream for ice cream. It was absolute chaos. Now, she claims that she just sleepwalks. I'm like, okay, fine. But then why was the next night my door wedged open with a spoon? A spoon? Is that the most effective door wedge? That's when I decided it was revenge time. I'm going to outdo your weird. I didn't want her gone. I wanted her to know that she messed with the wrong roommate. So I started playing her at her own game. I'd move her things ever so slightly every day. Shift her shampoo up an inch, unplug her charger, replace her almond milk with oat milk. She hated oat milk. Then I'd gaslight her by saying, she'd say, did you move my hairbrush? And I'd go, oh, are you okay, Amy? You've been really forgetful lately. I even changed her phone background to the picture of the spoon she used to wedge my door open with, just to make her question her sanity. Within 2 weeks, this girl was spiraling, telling people she thought she was a ghost in the apartment. She'd sleep with the lights on. She was leaving salt in circles around her bed. One night, I took it up a notch. I waited till she fell asleep, then softly whispered her name from the hallway. When she looked up, I was just standing there in my hoodie, holding a label maker. What? What? She screamed, packed her bags that night and left. She told everyone I was possessed, and honestly, I didn't deny it. So I'm back in my apartment, all on my own now with my stuff that doesn't go missing anymore, and the energy is immaculate. Sometimes I think about her, and I wonder, did I go too far? Or did she just pick the wrong girl? Am I wrong for traumatizing my roommate? Because honestly, I think she may have deserved it. Who labels someone else's oat milk? I love this so much. Sometimes you just got to play them at their own game. They need to know that she goes weird, you go weirder. There is always going to be someone weirder than you in the world, girls. And this story is going to teach you just that. I think we need to be careful with who we're moving in with. You know, sometimes you hear great things about people that have met on like the internet or Craigslist and whatnot. This big advert to not do that. Okay. Move in with friends, see how it goes. If it goes well, stay that way. Don't be moving in with random people. I fear it's not safe. I know sometimes it has to be done, but you know, let's make sure we are meeting the people first. Okay. And that, guys, is the end of today's episode. I hope you have had a fantastic time listening. I've had a fantastic time chatting with you all. If you have a story time to send in, there is a little link in the caption or the show notes down below. Click that, send me your stories. I absolutely love reading them. And I'll see you next time, guys. Tatty bye.
Please fill my cup. Am I really asking for much? It's been a long week, I'm looking for fun. Please fill my cup. Find me under the sun. SOS, I'm just looking for a good time. Oh, 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 oh. And I'm singing like, whoa.